Welcome to Talk Wordy to Me, a podcast about authors, done by authors, strangely enough. Stephen Ross and myself, Dzintra Sullivan, will be at your service for the next half an hour of entertainment. Morning, Stephen.
Morning, Dzintra. As you can tell, this morning my voice is not so much the best, but we're going to make a go with it. I've got my handy dandy cough syrup, which cures all. So just hang on, I'll crack the lid.
Oh my goodness. This is why he let me do the intro, people. This is the reason why I did the intro. He's just like, oh, you're doing, you sound better than me today. Well, I can speak for all the ladies of the Twitter community, and it sounds great. It sounds
All right.
great.
Well,
All
I'll
right.
live with
Who are
that.
we talking about today, Stephen?
Today we're going to talk about the amazing Clinton Love, a personal favorite of mine, and a bit of a sort of a compatriot in a way.
The
Um,
triple threat. That's what you
yeah,
are. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so two of us make three, I guess. We're fairly big. So
Well, if anybody who's playing at home has ever stalked Clinton, Stephen, and or Brian, you understand the word triple threat of the three of them. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. It's not too shabby, that's for sure.
I promise to
Okay,
keep my shirt on.
Clinton Love, a writer and a musician. Do you know he's a mortician, Stephen?
I
A
do.
mortician.
I
A
do.
mortician. Yeah. How
It's
freaking cool
crazy.
is that? I mean, I love that. I want to be a mortician when I want to be Clinton Love when I grow up.
Well, you're almost tall enough, but not quite. He's got a couple inches on you.
It's a little bit and a little bit more facial hair. I
A
mean,
little bit, yeah. We
I
both
don't.
do, I think. Yeah.
I I've tried to grow. I've tried to grow a beard, and I've managed the single chin hair because I'm old. That's about as much as I get. It's about it. But as you do, as you do. All right. So Clinton Love, writer, musician, and mortician. I
Yes,
love that. He writes urban fantasy. Wow, not all of it. Not all of it. His Heaven Nor Hell series is urban fantasy. That is when I fell in love with his writing. Is the Heaven or Hell series.
yeah,
Um,
it's also his most popular series, I do believe. I need to get into
that's
that one
Heaven.
very soon.
Yeah, you'd really love it. Heaven or Hell's book one. Hunters of Gehenna. God, I hope I got that right, Clinton. Hunters of Gehenna, book two, and Summon the Hunters, book three. The series is just it's all engrossing. You get sucked into it, and honestly, it's one of those books. Each book, I found myself when I got to the end page amazed that I'd read so much because you got so immersed in the story. You lost that time connection
Mm,
because you were just so lost within the words and the world that he was creating.
that's a sign of a good book, right there, is the ability to get lost in it, to for the rest of the world to go away for a little while and just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, well, you're straight off with Heaven or Hell. The first thing is when, the main character takes four bullets to the back. So you're immediately sucked into this fantasy demon slaying. Oh, it's just you just got to read it, people. You've just got
Yeah,
to read it. The Heaven or
I mean,
Hell series.
I'd love to read the tag from it. It picks you up right from the beginning. It's
Mm.
he comes out with sometimes death is not the end, it is the beginning. Leonard just took four bullets to the back, and you thought your morning sucked. I mean, that's a start. That's a start right
It's
there.
that line, those couple lines just there is enough for me. Well, I've read the book, but it would be enough for a reader to just go, "Yep, click, one click." I love it. One
Absolutely,
click it. Chuck it down into your TBR list. It's certainly one that it's a series that you'll absolutely love. Um,
absolutely.
the other thing that Clinton does, not only fantasy, urban fantasies, also horror stories.
And he's very apt at that. The violence that I've read in some of the stuff I've read from him is
Mm.
so well done, so visceral. It really strikes a chord with me in
Oh,
particular.
so you love that. You're a
Oh,
horror writer yourself. You love the grit and gore of a good horror.
absolutely. A little bit of visceral violence is just it turns the
Is
button for
that
me. It
is
pushes the
that what
devil's
makes it?
doorbell.
Is that what makes it for you? A horror has to have that really sort of tangible, like it makes you feel like your fingers are coated as you're reading it. Is that what you need out of a horror?
It depends. It all depends. It depends on the story. The story is always first. Story's key, characters are key. But if you can give me everything, if you can dip me in it and just coat me in the blood, then I'm at home right there.
For those playing at home, I don't write horror for a reason. I haven't read any of Clinton's horror. I'm the fantasy. I'm the urban fantasy girl. The urban fantasy girl. The shortcuts though, which is an adventure. It's a bunch of short stories in it. The shortcuts, which is horror based. Has awesome. The feedback is amazing on it. It's his talent is very obvious on his
He is very
ability to
talented.
weave a dark web.
He can also apparently weave some awesome food on the barbecue. And apparently, at some point in time, we're going to meet and we're going to have a little bit of a barbecue off. At least that's been our conversation recently. So
Really?
you're invited.
Is there a weird little Aussie chick invited to that?
Oh,
Because
abs-
I like a good BBQ.
yeah. You can be you'll be our sidekick.
I suck. I'm not wearing lycra for any of you, I tell you.
Oh, come on.
Now, nah, I do make a mean meat potato salad though. And deviled eggs. Horror writers, see, I'll bring deviled eggs. See, that keeps it in the theme, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect.
Deviled
You bring the
eggs.
devil. Yeah,
I'll bring the deviled eggs.
yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to touch on about Clinton's writing is the diversity that he has, the talent. I mean, okay, because you can find a writer that can be talented. I mean, send me hate mail, people. I don't care. I've got opinions. I'm going to say them. Um, you can find an author that can be talented or have a comfortable posse in a particular genre, and they can fulfill that genre's requirements and surge with great success within the realm of that specific genre. But when you find authors that flip around, that have another level of talent, in my view, where you can flip from genre to genre. It's not only just talent, but it's also the ability to want to learn other genres, because you can write any genre. If you can write, you can write any genre, but you have to learn what that genre wants from you as a reader, or what your readers want from you in that genre, and as a writer, what you need to deliver.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, if you can write, if you can truly write, you can write anything you want. But do you know what people want to hear? Do you want to know what
Yeah.
they want to see in front of them? So that's a whole different aspect. It's not just the ability to write. I mean, I think any of us could write anything that we wanted to, but if you stuck me in a genre I'm not comfortable with and I haven't done my due diligence and done a little research, no one's going to want to read it. Yeah.
Well, and it's knowing the genre. It's like if you're writing romance, straight romance, you've got to have a happy ever after. If you don't have a happy ever after, then they will come and crucify you. So there are
I'm
certain genre requirements that you have to have, you know.
I can feel the nails right now apparently because there'll be no happy
Well, see, then you
after.
wouldn't be writing a straight romance. You'd be writing a dark romance or a fantasy romance or something like that. You wouldn't be, that's you can do it with the subgenres that come off it. That's fine. But I did get educated regarding that by a romance author that was very, you have to do this, and I'm like, okay.
Now, I understand that. I mean, I don't agree with it from a creative standpoint, but from a readership standpoint, I understand it. It's one thing to say that you have to do it in this specific fashion, and you feel like you're boxed in. But if that's what people want to read, if that's what they're
Absolutely.
expecting when
Absolutely.
they pay money, they're hard-earned money to buy your book, and they get a romance that in the end, both characters are dead. Well, which it's just not going to turn their cranks.
Yeah, no, and people want to be able to pick up a genre and know what they're going to get. Like if you're going to pick up a horror genre, you want to be scared. You want to know that that's what you're going to get. You're not going to suddenly be having a tea party, unless it's with 5 different dead ghosts from a different realm. Babylon Creek by Clinton Love. We're going west. This is a gunfighter. This is the town of Babylon Creek. This always not amuses me, intrigues me would be the word that I need to use. Intrigues me because it's not often that westerns are prevalent as much. It's not the genre that is top of the creeks at the moment. But this is saloon girls and undertakers, and I just love this. The genre sounds so exciting to write or to read.
I think it's a genre that's really it'd be great for it to come back because
Yes.
it's a very entertaining era, and you can really play with the history and not really stick super close to anything that's real. I mean, spaghetti westerns, right there, nothing even remotely close to actual Wild West, but I bloody well love them. They're my favorite. Or something like Bone Tomahawk film. Yeah, that's just an absolute horror fest. But or The Hateful Eight.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So anything like that, there's just so many stories that can be told from that backdrop that I'd really love to see it come back, and it has come back with Clint Love.
Well, like most genres, like every genre can't sit up the top of the pile all the time. Writing or reading, the reading market is circular. Different fads come in, different fashions come in, genres raise up to the top, and everybody's buying a specific genre, and the other ones sit down the bottom. And as an author who sometimes, your genre might not be sitting up the top. Sometimes they do all the time. Romance will always sell, no matter what. But the more left of center genres, I guess, are a bit more circular in the fact that different fashions come in and they become. Everybody wants to buy, or everybody wants to read murder books, or everybody wants to read Western books, or everybody wants to read paranormal or whatever, and you have to ride those sorts of waves sometimes as an author too.
Yeah, generally it always seems to come in with the one big breakthrough, the one big book or the one big film that brings that genre back. So
And everybody wants to go find that genre again. Yes, that's right. We haven't read that one for that genre for ages. Everybody wants to have it.
absolutely, like the early 2000s with the zombie genre. It came back, and that's
Yes.
all you could find: zombie books,
Yeah.
left and right.
Yeah.
And now they're basically dead, or at least they're a dying breed, not compared to what they used
I
to be.
like the pun. I like the pun that you just put in there. They are dead. They're the walking dead. But the thing is, though, is that they will pop back up again. And as a writer, you write the book, you write the genre that you want, and you ride the waves as they come, and you're ready for when your genre does pop up to everybody wants to read it. You can sit there and go, "Wow, I have a book apparently that you can read." So Babylon Creek being a Western, it's on my to be read list because I love that era. I love the saloon girl. I love the corsets with the big skirts and the whole. It's very sexy. It's very sexy.
Well,
I
there
don't
you
think
go.
he's writing it as a sexy book, but it
When
could
you
have.
say corset,
Well, well, he's talking about a threat born of pure evil that's about to descend upon the town. I'm not sure that the corset wearing saloon girl is probably going to be a focus, but for me, it would be. Other Now, this is to emphasize the talent that is Clinton Love. Brew or Die. Brew or Die. Is a it's a book about making brew. He talks you through how to make make the blues, the recipes, the whole shebang. This is what makes Clinton Love stand separate to me, is that his diversity in his books is mammoth.
Yeah, he's multi-talented. He really is a very talented man, and
He'll love that. The other thing we need to touch on this, because it's his latest thing, and we actually do have a snippet that he's given us to read it. I will say it again, people, for those playing at home, anything that we read out from the author is given to us with express permission of the author. So we are not taking snippets. We are not subjecting ourselves to any legal aspect of this, bar we ask the author to give us something that we can read for them, and they do that. That's it.
yeah.
It's all above board. Above board, people.
I swear I'm not a crook.
Not a crook. Watchdog. This is his Valor series. For those playing at home, the Valor is a new market that Kindle's offering or Amazon's offering.
Yeah, essentially serialized. And I think it's a great idea. Unfortunately, I can't get into it. I don't think you can either right now, because
No,
bastards.
it's USA only, which I was ready to go. I had my 10 episodes ready to go. Does Dzintra do any research on the Valor before she gets it already? No, she does not. So I was a little bereft to find out that being an Australian, we are somehow subjected to locationalist attitudes and can no longer partake in the party. Screw you, Amazon. Anyway, no, I love you, Amazon.
I can understand that with you guys, but not us. I mean,
well, yeah, you're closer. You're right. Yeah. You're the neighbor. You're the neighbor. You should at least be invited over to the barbecue.
You would think so. I can cross the river and go visit my good friends down south.
Yours is just a drive. I have to get in the big plane, but you guys can just drive, and you still can't go play. Pretty rude. Well, hopefully it expands. I'm hoping it'll expand. I guess they're just testing it out on the home waters first. But Valor, it's a serialized book. So what do you get? Episodes every week, every month?
I believe it's up to your own timeline.
And people pay with tokens to read them. The first 3 episodes, I think, generally are free of every Valor.
That's a brilliant marketing idea.
Absolutely.
To give someone that little taste ahead of time. And it gives the reader also the option of saying, yeah, I don't want to drop, $20, $30 on this author because I just don't enjoy their work.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
not that they'd ever say that about us, Stephen. Everybody loves us. We can't help it. We're lovable. Watchdog. The snippet is not our snippet to read, just the blurb. Blurb is the word I was looking for. I was having a little mental blank there. The blurb is: in a strange forested world, Hunter finds himself attacked by nightmarish creatures who stalk the woods seeking human flesh. Fellow captives inform him that all prisoners are giant cephalopods called the Masters. As he adjusts to the new world, he battles his own inner demons. He meets a beautiful woman and befriends one of his captors. Hunter soon discovers a horrible secret that sends him on a desperate mission to reclaim their freedom and future, and the future of humanity itself. It is tagged as science fiction and fantasy, suspense, action and adventure, horror. Also, it has the word tentacles. I had to read it twice because honestly, I did not see tentacles first. I'm sorry, Clinton. I did not. And if you know me well enough, you know that I would not have seen tentacles first.
No.
Also, a little bit of erotica. So that's also like, woof, okay. This is our snippet. Though. We have this.
We do. And we're going to read this for you.
All right. I'm bringing it up so I can see what we're doing. Right. Oh. So this, for those playing at home, is The Watchdog. The Watchdog by Clinton Love, currently on Vella. So if you're enjoying what we're about to read you, go get your butt over to Vella. Go throw some. Well, you can read the first 3 for free, for goodness sakes. This costs you nothing to read the talented words that Clinton Love puts down, and then you'll fall in love with it. Well, you'll fall in love with Clinton Love. We all do.
Yes,
And throw the
absolutely.
tokens at him, because that's what we do. All right, let's go. You going first?
I think I will let you go first.
Oh, look at me. All right, I'm ready.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right. I got it.
All right. You got
All right. This is Watchdog by Clinton Love. After a lovely dinner of Salisbury steak, peas, and cubed carrots, we watched the sunset from the porch. I pulled on my ninja shirt and improvised hood. Now, instead of black, my ninja suit was a chaotic mix of brown, black, and grey tiger stripes. I painted around my eyes with a paste of brown pigment and black ash. Be careful, baby. She held back the tears. It crushed me. Knowing, sorry, there was a comma. Go with me, people. It
it.
crushed me, knowing that she would probably break down crying as soon as I was out of earshot. Keep the lights, keep inside. Oh my God, I need to get some. Keep the inside lights out and watch through the hole in the blinds. I had made a knife hand pointing towards my hide in the woods. If it goes bad, I'll come out that way. I will be the one running and screaming like a girl. She snorted, wiped her eye. Stop it. They will never find you because you're a badass. I placed my palms together and made a short bow like a cheesy ninja in the movies. Stop making me laugh. I'm still mad at you. She was trying not to smile, but it wasn't working. I love you. I picked up my spear and knife. I love you too, baby. She stepped in and I pulled down my mask. She kissed me on the lips. I was settled in the spot where I heard the klaxon sound. My stomach twisted. The black rolled in as the sun died in the distance. Shadows stretched. I felt the temperature drop. Seasons were changing. It was getting colder at night. I lay supine and closed my eyes. It gave me a chance to focus on the sounds and scent. It did not take long before I heard thumping sounds in the distance. They were throwing rocks at someone's house. The steady, distant din of rocks thumping against siding and windows continued for a couple of hours. It went silent as suddenly as it had begun.
The force field. It has to go somewhere and come from somewhere. It cannot simply exist. How is it generated? What is it made from? And what could disrupt it long enough for a raiding party? The electrical crack and sizzle jolted my eyes open. A ripple tore through the invisible wall and ran up to the sky. Purple arcs cascaded up the transparent barrier. The hooded one crouched not 50 feet from me. His wide, insectile eyes scanned left and right. His scepter was jammed in the ground at the base of the barrier. The arcs moved up an invisible wall, dissipating as they climbed. 2 other stalkers loomed over their leader's shoulder, scanning the scene for trouble. Flashes of black darted through the gap in the field, and the clicking sounds began. An entire army of the long, black skeletal forms lurched past me. My chest grew tight. I held my breath until I started to grow lightheaded. My heart pounded loud in my ears. I got flashbacks of my first night, of Martin, and the horrifying battle at my old house. The army that stormed my house was about 60 by my count. This one was double that size. They stalked close together and spread out as they filtered through the woods. After the last of them darted past me, the hooded one stepped through and withdrew the metallic rod from the ground. He glided past me, as silent as the wind. 4 of the largest ones met him at the wood line. They acted as an escort, flanking him as they slipped through the forest. Bigger army. Bodyguards. They learned that from last time. The scepter is not a fancy piece of jewelry. It's a key. How did those troglodytes get a hold of that thing? More importantly, where can I get one?
I heard the ominous cadence of stones smashing our house. I thought I thought of the crystal inside. I closed my eyes and tried to focus. I wondered if the house could survive a malfunction. Horrible thoughts filled my head. I focused on my breathing. I tried to let in the calm. I shut out thoughts of what they would do to her if the electricity failed. In a weird way, the steady thump of stones was comforting. It was something familiar, the harassment. It meant the lights were on. It meant they were not getting in. It meant they could not batter the door and do horrible things to the woman that I loved. Why did you fall in love, you fool? Why? People die here. Friends die here. What would you do if it was her turn or yours? A howl sliced through the night air. It was distant, past the force field. The thumping of stones ceased. I heard a whisper in the woods followed by the clicks. The army of stalkers was retreating toward the next plot over. The howl sounded again, and the ratcheting sounds began. Someone's light went out. They were leaving lookouts behind. That means I have to be careful going back to the house if I do that tonight. The leader appeared and broke the field again. His ghastly army filed through the hole. They were excited. The ratcheting noise was at fever pitch. There could be fresh meat tonight. I lay in silence, watching them run past. A shriek filled my ears from the direction of my house. My whole body tensed. I grabbed my spear. Crystal! My heart jumped into my throat. Absolute horror dawned. I recognized the sound. My mind rushed to the dog show when I was traded from my old masters. I recalled the screech of a little one unwillingly torn from his friend. Shadow. The words slipped in a hoarse whisper. My eyes darted from the woods to the force field, weighing the odds before I could weigh them fully. My legs launched me from the ground.
I ran towards the screams, spear tucked close. Adrenaline fired in my veins. Time ground to a halt. I was aware of the stalkers turning and following. The ratcheting was wild. That horrible sound erupted from all sides. I hit the edge of the ravine and jumped. I dropped to the stony bed, still in a dead run. Screams were close, filled with raw desperation and fear. A cluster of shadow men rattled and slashed at something. Shadow's pain filled my ears. The terror was mine. I channeled it into rage and charged. I buried my spear point in the back of the closest stalker. I heard a wheezing rasp. I threw the monster to the ground, twisted, and pulled my weapon free. I spun and leveled a slash, tearing the throat of the second one. It gurgled and clutched its neck with oversized hands. Shadow flailed, ink spraying, and eyes wide with fear. His body was cherry red. I could see the crimson hues even in the deep night. His arms were twisted up in the arms of his assailants. A couple of his limbs lay on the ground, still writhing. Blue blood flowed from his face and mantle. I waded into those skull-faced motherfuckers with a fury only a father knows, seeing his child in danger. I wasn't a man anymore. I was an enraged primate with a blade. I was violence incarnate. I didn't feel the cuts. I carved one to pieces and went on to the next. I sank my spear into another. He grabbed at the handle as it pierced his chest. I let go, drew my knife, and rained hell upon him. The blade came down in hard hammer blows. I smelled fear and pain on his breath. The claws that tore at my back were vicious. I dropped the knife. I stomped the chest of the one that held my spear. I wrenched the spear out and spun again, putting myself between Shadow and the fury of claws. A wicked slash from the spear leveled the last one. Covered in blood, I let out an inhuman roar. A mass of them charged at the edge of the ravine, howling like mad. They remembered who they were dealing with now. They forgot my friend. They wanted me.
Shadow, I growled. The water, go! My little brother was frozen. He had flattened himself behind me. He tried to blend with the rocks. Move, bro! My voice cracked. I screamed so loud. Run! He wouldn't move. I didn't know if he was dead or dying. If he wasn't, he soon would be. We both would. They sprinted towards us at full rattle, leaping over the fallen log that bridged the water. I planted my feet and belted out one last battle cry for me and little Shadow. I was still screaming when the black form rose from the river. The shadowy hulk steamed water, jets blasted from huge siphons. Mum was here. A mammoth arm slashed with explosive speed. Broken bodies flew. Another limb crushed stalkers like twigs. I crouched next to Shadow, spear up, a grimace of death on my face. I watched as the three-story cephalopod tore into the stalkers like an industrial hammer mill. They retaliated en masse, claws whirling. Bodies and parts littered the ground. I heard a distant howl. The last of the stalkers fled. My breathing began to slow. A sour sickness filled my stomach as I threw my spear to the ground.
Shadow. I turned to my friend. He lay still, covered in blood, some of it mine. I dropped to my knees and stroked his mantle. I whispered to him, No, 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 not you. I pressed my forehead to him and started to cry, still touching his face and mantle. Something touched my mangled flesh. Pain shot through me. The suction tips curled around my face and tasted my skin. One bulbous eye opened. Bro, bro. I was still crying. Hope rushed through my veins and filled my heart. That's right, it's me, Shadow. I turned. Mom, help. A huge arm nudged me aside. It was like being nudged by a truck. Refusing to move was not an option. The pain forced me into a ball. I became aware of deep cuts on my body. I was bleeding like a sieve. It pumped out of me in time with my heart. Shadow sank into his mother like a puppy, lost and found at last. She curled mighty protective arms around him. She reached over and tasted my skin, seasoned with our blood and that of our enemies. I held her huge arm and cried. The pebbled skin rasped against my dirty, bloody face. Hunter! A scream sounded from above. I held up a hand to show I was alive. My hand weighed a ton. I was desperately low on blood. I desired sleep, but that was death. Crystal, I whispered. My love.
Oh my God.
Chills.
I tell you what, I know. There was one line that I wanted to just zip back to because this. You read it. It was this line that said, I wasn't a man anymore. I was an enraged primate with a blade. I was violence incarnate.
That whole
So powerful. And from that point on, you could see that Clinton's crafted the snowball of his rage to go out of in control. Obviously he was in control as a raging, but it snowballed. It was ratcheting up.
It picked up. Yeah, it was like picking up steam as it went and went faster. The intensity of the scene just built and built and built until the very end, and that's just perfectly done.
I love that. I wasn't a man anymore. I was an enraged primate with a blade. I was violent incarnate. God, I love that line. Such a good line. Awesome job. Of course, that was Watchdog by Clinton Love. If that tickled your readers' ears, go on to Valor. People, go on to Valor. Go check out Clinton Love. First three episodes are free.
Yeah, absolutely. Pick it up. Follow Clinton. He's on Twitter. He's on Instagram, and he's always a joy to follow and to watch what he's doing, and to read his work. I mean, he's on my list of to be read list, my enormous to be read list, but he's certainly one of the ones that are up next. I'm blown away by that little passage there, especially the
Oh, it's
second
just
half. It
fantastic.
just
Yeah. It
yeah,
it just grabbed you by the throat and you wasn't letting you go. And that's how, I mean, that's how the Heaven or Hell stew is too. It's the same thing. He writes with a very intense
it,
nature, very imagery. The imagery is huge. It engulfs you and you have no choice but to just
it's
go along with it.
it's very elemental, just pure fury and imagination together
Mm.
with
And a big muscly dude covered in blood while he defends the love of his life. I like it. I like it.
mm,
It sells me on that straight away.
painted like a
The
picture, painted like
uh,
a Frazetta painting.
absolutely, absolutely. Now the motto he lives by. The motto he lives by.
Yes, yeah, I got this. A good
Yeah.
attitude may not fix the problem, but a bad attitude will damn sure make it worse. That's a brilliant motto. I love that.
It is a great motto, and it's pivotal to all of us. We all have issues and problems. How you deal with them can make all the difference to how much how you survive through them, I guess.
Yeah.
I did like his necrophilia joke that he gave us. He says, I have a necrophilia joke. Sometimes at the end of a long day, or sometimes at the end of a long day, you just need to crack open a cold one. Brilliant.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it. And knowing that he's a mortician, I go, yeah, okay.
yeah, yeah. You got it right there. He's also a musician, if you didn't know
He is
that.
a He's just an everything. He's an everything. I'm a massive fan of Clinton Love. His writing, his talent, his attitude towards life, um,
Absolutely.
and his back. Sorry, I just have to put it in there. If you
we're
stalk Clinton, you'll know. You
yeah,
don't
we're
need to
doing the
talk to
back
me
to back.
about that. I do like a little back porn, people. And Clinton and you, Stephen, and Brian. Yeah, the triple threat. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. All right.
So
Well, that is
that was our
Clinton Love. That is Clinton Love for those who should be stalking him. Um, hang on, I'm just pulling back. Where am I? It's a HNH Universe on Twitter too. Heaven or Hell Universe, HNH Universe, which you can keep track of all of his stuff, what he's putting out, Valor, etc., etc. So definitely worth stalking Clinton.
absolutely, absolutely, like I do, and you do.
Yeah. Oh, I do. Oh, yeah. No, I stalk. I stalk Clinton. I'm scared of his wife, but I do stalk Clinton.
I'm a little scared of his wife, so there you go.
She's fantastic, but yeah, I think she'd snap me. I love it. Right, Clinton Love, people, go check him out. And yeah, you've been
Bye.
listening to Talk Wordy to me.
Yeah, you've been listening to Talk Wordy with me. Talk Wordy to me, not with me. Because if you talk wordy with me, well, that's going to be a big problem.
Oh,
We're
look,
going to have to.
I'll take a two or a with. It's all the same. Just talk wordy.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Me too.
I can swing it either way. It has been a pleasure, Stephen Ross.
As always, it's a pleasure being on the podcast with you, Dzintra. You're just a pro, and I hope I learn as much as I can from you so that I can get a little bit better at this.
Nah, we're just muddling through. All right, talk wordy to me, people. Clinton Love. Go stalk him. Tell him I
Stalk
sent
him,
you. Mm.
stalk him, follow us, retweet, share, do everything you got to do.
All right.
Go on.
And until next week, stay reading. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next month.
Next
We
month,
do it
next week.
monthly.
Next month.
We do
Yeah.
it monthly. Yeah. All right. All right. Until then.
Talk to you again.
Bye.
Bye.